Welcome to Wheelock's Latin, Chapter 7. In this chapter, we're going to learn the endings for the third declension. First, let's do an overview of the three declensions. If you recall, in the dictionary entry for a noun, the first part of the dictionary entry is the nominative singular, the second part is the genitive singular, and the third part is the gender. If you look at the endings for the nominative and the genitive, you can determine which declension we're in. So in the first one, puel a, puel I, the a in the nominative and the ae in the genitive show us that we're in the first declension. For the second noun, amicus, amici, the us-e ending is the second declension masculine. In the third noun, donum, doni, shows you that we're in the second declension neuter. For the remaining four nouns, you have to look at the genitive singular, and you see that they all end in is. The is ending in the genitive singular is the marker of the third declension. Nouns in the third declension can be any gender, masculine, feminine, or neuter. You must memorize the gender of the noun along with the noun. You'll notice that the nominative forms are all different. There's no fixed ending for the nominative. This is why you must look to the genitive to get the third declension ending is, but also to get the true stem of the word. So in rex regis, if you take off the is ending, you'll notice the stem upon which all the other forms are made is reg. In virtus virtutis, the stem is virtut. In homo hominis, the stem is homin. And in corpus corporis, the stem is corpor. Now that we know the stems, let's look at the endings. For our sample nouns, rex regis, virtus virtutis, homo hominis, and corpus corporis, we're going to add the endings to the true stem, which can be found in the genitive singular. As I said before, these are all different genders. No matter what gender, they all behave the same way. I'm not going to write out the vocative on this chart because for all third declension nouns, no matter what gender, the vocative is identical to the nominative. So let's write out the stem for each of these nouns. I'm looking at the masculine and feminine first. I'll tell you a little bit of difference for the neuters in a second. So now that I have the stem, let's add the third declension endings. Rex for nominative, regis for genitive, regi, long I for dative, regem, em for accusative. Notice that it has an M in the accusative, just like the first and the second declensions. Rege for the ablative, short E. Reges for the nominative. Regum for the genitive. Do not confuse this with the accusative singular of the second declension. You must remember whether a noun is of the third declension or the second declension in order to be able to determine whether the ending is genitive plural or accusative singular. Dative plural is regibus, accusative plural reges, and ablative plural regibus. We'll add these same endings to virtus and homo. The neuter has only a slight variation. If you recall in previous lessons, I told you that the neuter accusative all across the board for all nouns all the time always equals the neuter nominative. So corpus for neuter nominative and corpus for accusative singular of the neuter. For the remaining forms of the noun, we'll write out the stem, which we get from the genitive singular corpor, and then add the third declension endings. You'll see slight variation in the plural. For the singular, corpus, corporis, corpori, corpus, corpore. In the plural, instead of using es, we use corpora, the short a. This is the same short a we see in the neuter plural of the second declension, dona. The genitive plural is like the masculine and feminine, corporum. The dative plural, corporibus, like the masculine and feminine. The accusative plural, corpora, short a, like the nominative plural. And the ablative plural, corporibus. So notice where the neuter differs from the masculine and feminine. So I told you that nouns of the third declension can be any grammatical gender, and you have to memorize it when you memorize the noun. There are, however, a few patterns that can help you memorize the genders. So, for example, any noun that ends in or oris, that's the nominative and then the genitive side by side, any noun that ends in or oris is masculine, as in amor, amoris, or amator, amatoris. The first one is love, and the second one is lover. You'll notice they're related to the verb amo, amara. There's also words like labor, laboris. In the feminine, anything that ends in tas, tatis, like veritas, veritatis, is feminine. You'll notice that this is related to veris aum, the word for true. Veritas is truth. Anything that ends in tutus is feminine, like words virtus, virtutis, that means virtue. Tudo, tudinus, always feminine, as in pulchritudo, pulchritudinus, it means beauty. It's related to our adjective pulcher, pulchra, pulchrum. And anything ending in tio, tionis, like natio, nationis. A lot of English words that end in tion come from third declension Latin nouns. In the neuter, anything ending in us eris or us oris is neuter. Don't confuse it with the second declension and where the nominative ends in us, but the genitive ends in long I. So you have to look at the genitive singular to determine whether it's second declension or third declension. So an example noun in this form is corpus corporis. Anything ending in is neuter. A sample noun here is mare, maris. We'll learn a slight variation on the third declension later, and you'll see that mare, maris gives us a nominative plural, not mara, but maria. Another pattern that's neuter is al, alis, as in animal, animalis. Also aris, as in exemplar, exemplaris. And men, minis, as in nomen, nominis. If you want to know how to say my name is in Latin, it's mihi nomen est. Literally, the name to me is. Mihi nomen est. That's all for this time. See you next time.